We are expecting the Federal Aviation Administration to issue an international notice about the Boeing 737 MAX 8 in the wake of Sunday's Ethiopian plane crash that killed everyone on board. Two major domestic airlines, American and Southwest, are among a group that are still flying this type of aircraft. Ethiopian Airlines and Cayman Airlines are grounding these planes until further notice as a precaution. The Ethiopian flight is the second crash of one of these Boeing 737 MAX 8s in 6 months. Investigators are looking into what happened. It's not clear at this point that the two crashes are related, but nervous flyers want answers. As CNN's David McKenzie reports, as of now, Boeing is standing by their plane.
Mystery and worldwide fallout today following the crash of Ethiopian Airlines flight ET302, which killed all 157 people on board after it went down Sunday just minutes after takeoff. The focus now for many, the plane itself. The plane, Boeing's best-selling passenger jet, the new 737 MAX 8. Sunday's tragedy is the second of its type to crash in the past few months, though there's no evidence of a link. The first back in October, when a Lion Air flight went down near Indonesia, killing 189 people. China, Indonesia and several airlines around the world have grounded their fleets of the plane, but in the US, Southwest, American Airlines and WestJet are among the airlines saying that at this stage, they aren't planning to change operations, expressing confidence in the aircraft. Boeing, for its part, says that safety is their number one priority. In a statement Monday, adding, "We are taking every measure to fully understand all aspects of this accident. Based on the information available, we do not have any basis to issue new guidelines to operators." The voice recorder and flight data recorder have been found as investigators begin to piece together what happened in those final moments. NTSB investigators are also on their way to help officials on the ground. The flight took off on Sunday morning, reporting technical problems moments later and asking for permission to turn back. Just 6 minutes after takeoff, contact with the plane was lost. The plane came right over, says Tadu. There was a fire near the back of it. It looked in trouble. It came straight down and there was a huge explosion and fire. He was tending his sheep when he heard the noises above and saw the plane with his own eyes. Questions too and heartache for the loved ones of those on board. The plane was packed with many who hoped to make the world a better place. Aid workers, teachers, environmentalists, some heading to a major UN environmental summit. And the families who go to bed tonight with the place missing, without their mothers, fathers and children.
What really struck me was the small size of many of those bits of that plane. This plane was virtually shredded as it impacted on the ground there. I spoke to an investigator who believed that it came in at a very vertical angle, at great speed, plowing into the ground, creating that massive crater. Questions now will be asked here in Ethiopia and across the world, is this type of aircraft safe? And they'll need those answers very soon indeed. Brianna?
It certainly will. David McKenzie, thank you so much, reporting from Ethiopia. And I want to bring in Richard Quest, who is CNN's aviation correspondent, and he's the anchor of Quest Means Business. Richard, tell us what happens now, because they've located the black box, they've located the cockpit voice recorder. So where does this go to get analyzed, and then what happens from there?
Well, we don't know whether Addis is sophisticated in aviation to be able to read out. There are only a few places in the world where you can read out the black boxes. If it can't be done in Addis, then maybe South Africa, or probably it would go up to either London or Paris. It tends to be where they're often sent for reading out. But within a very short period of time, that we will get an early look, Rihanna, that will pretty much give us what happened. Now, how, whys and wheres, who did what, when and how, that all follows on later. But the sequence of events will become clear from a combination of what the pilots were saying and what the machine was doing. And we'll get to understand that after they've read out the box. And then it's up to everybody to make their decisions. You know, the FAA will decide what needs to be done with the plane. Boeing will decide what measures need to be taken to change.
It seems, Richard, that there are not these catastrophic mechanical failures very often, that we're in an era where this is not something that happens all the time, and yet you see this one plane, the Boeing 737 MAX 8, with the crash in Indonesia in the fall, now one crashing in Ethiopia. Are you concerned, and as you talk to experts, are you concerned that these are related?
Oh yes, absolutely. One would have to be ignoring the obvious to say that one isn't concerned about that. Now, that does not mean to say that I think you immediately, there's a panic because of this. Because I don't believe that this one will be an exact replica of circumstances of the previous one. It will. I don't believe that the incidents of the flight management systems that the pilots didn't understand. Well, by now every pilot knows about the mechanisms of the MCAS on the 737. So it won't be the same, but the phase of flight right at the beginning, the nature of the oscillations in altitude, the way the plane came out of the air, the fact they are brand new. And you know something, Brianna, every time somebody says, oh, we mustn't panic, and you're being over the top, and you're saying it, just think about it. This is a brand new plane with less than 6 months on the clock. Now, that shouldn't happen to a plane of 10 years. So 2 of them in a short period of time. Boeing, one thing I will say, because for anybody who's worried about what Boeing's up to, Boeing has every intention and every interest in understanding what happened, however much it may cost or change or delay or whatever. Boeing want to know the answer to this as much as you and I.
And to that point, should these be grounded in the U.S.? Because they are not at this point. They are in a number of countries and at international airlines. If you were supposed to fly on a Boeing 737 MAX 8 tomorrow, would you get on it, Richard?
I'd be concerned. Look, it's not my job, and I'm not qualified to say whether they should be grounded. But I am qualified as a passenger, a traveller, just one of the people who pays to get on a plane, to ask the question to the airline, hang on a second, the Chinese say they're not safe. I'll correct myself. The Chinese say out of an abundance of caution, they should be grounded. Now, Mr. FAA, why out of an abundance of caution are you not grounding them? What do they know that you don't? Why are they more concerned than you appear to be? And that is why I would say, people should be looking at the plane and wondering what. But I think it's up to everybody to make their own individual choice.
Well, a lot of people are with you on that. Richard Quest, thank you so much.